Well, good morning, my friends, and greetings to another video. Today is Easter Sunday, 2022, and I like to wish all of my friends a happy Easter. Remember the reason for the season? The Lord rose 3 days after the crucifixion, and that is the true meaning of Easter. We tend to get carried away with bunnies and Easter eggs and baskets, but let's remember the true reason for the season. Okay, guys, recently I did a video on the AMT pioneering models, and this time I spoke about the clear models paving the way for lighting. I spoke to you about the Enterprise D, and that was the first. Well, let me show you. This was the first clear edition of the Enterprise D. I had shown you the Star Trek Pro Shop USS Yamaguchi, and I had shown you the Enterprise D. Now, the Enterprise D, this was the first one. They do have them now, and now they have the, let's see, they have the Voyager, they have the Deep Space Nine, they have the Enterprise D, all in clear, so it's easier to light. But let's take a look at this one. This one was the first one, because this one is a special edition, molded in clear, great for lighting, and this one comes with the Aztecing decals. Now, after this kit, all the Aztecing decals were sold separately. And this is in 1/1400 scale, plastic assembly model kit, Star Trek USS Enterprise NCC-1701-D, skill level of 2. And this is from our beloved AMT Corporation. You can see the front of the box, the illustration of the Enterprise D. All right, let's take a look at the side real quick. This is the skill level 2, and we get the same illustration that's on the front of the box, showing you the side. It's basically the same. Both ends of the box are the same. And we have the other side. Now, looking at the back of the box, you can see they got a finished model, and it's not lit because this model kit does not come with lights. But it does come with the Aztecing decals. Features removable saucer section. And you can see kit includes the complete set of Aztecing decals for the ultimate in Starship authenticity. You can see includes a sturdy display stand, photos of actual assembled and painted model kit. And I had made the fiber optic Enterprise a little while ago, and it's the same actually it's the same molding, as well as the same base. And I painted it the same way. I did the silver and the gold. I thought it looked really good that way. And it shows you some of the other models that are available. And this Enterprise is in 1/1000 scale, and let's see, that would be that one right there. And we have the Enterprise D, the snap-together one, the 1/2500 scale. We have the Cadet Series Enterprise C, and the Cadet Series Enterprise Set. We recently made that one too, and I had made the custom base with the custom lighting. You can see 1/1400 scale plastic assembly kit, Enterprise. The flagship of the 24th century Starfleet, the USS Enterprise NCC-1701-D, was the 5th starship to be named Enterprise. Under the command of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, the Enterprise D carried a new generation of Starfleet officers into the cosmos, continuing to mandate to explore strange new worlds and boldly go where no man has gone before. With a total of 42 decks, the Galaxy-class Enterprise D was twice the length and had 8 times the interior space of the Constitution-class ships over a century earlier. She carried a combined crew and passenger load of 1,012. Defensive systems include 11 phaser banks, 250 photon torpedoes, and a high-capacity shield grid. The Enterprise D had a nominal top warp speed of warp 9. This all-plastic kit of the USS Enterprise D is 18 inches long when fully assembled and features a removable saucer section and display stand. This special edition is molded in clear styrene, which allows the model or the option of lighting the kit. Light kit not included. In addition to standard marking decals, this kit includes an all-new set of Aztecing decals for the ultimate in detail and authenticity. Includes complete instructions. Packaging art features an illustration of the Enterprise D by the ship's original designer, Andrew Provert. Contents include all plastic pieces to complete the model, decal sheets, and pictorial instructions. And this is AMT 656, and this is released in 2020. Well, it says August 30th of 2010. I'm sorry. I don't know where that 20 came from. You can see Probert Designs, Small Artworks, Round 2 Models, CollectorModel.com, and of course, StarTrek.com. Manufactured on August 30th, 2010 release. So, we got this beautiful model. All the Aztecing decals, of course, they sell it all separately now. So let's take it over to the desk and we're going to show you guys what's in this absolutely phenomenal Star Trek The Next Generation kit. Alright, let's open her up. That's good. All right, what do we got first? Ooh. You can see this is the secondary hull. You can see the back of the dorsal hull. Look at that. Beautiful. And you can see the detail, but you can still paint. And if you want, you could dry wash it to really highlight it. Then again, remember, it's going to be covered with Aztecing decals. But the way it is right now, you can see the way it's easily lit. Love it. So, I don't know if we would mask each window first, or we would just paint the whole thing and then use a small drill. Let me see if I got one available. Something like this, just to drill the paint off of the windows. All right, so that's the back of the dorsal hull. Let's see. You can see the top of the secondary hull. Let me show you. I'll go like that. Again, this is the first edition. As far as I know, that's what the box said. The box said special edition, so I'm thinking that this is the first time we have the Enterprise in clear plastic. And again, it would be easy to paint. And I'm thinking that we use the drill to scrape out. You don't really necessarily have to drill all the way through the plastic. I guess you could, but if you wanted, you could just drill the paint off of the windows and do it that way. All right, what's the next packaging? All right, it looks like this is the bottom of the secondary hull. So let's open this up. And you can see we got both sides of the dorsal hull. And again, this model kit is the same exact molding, going all the way back to the AMT Star Trek The Next Generation Enterprise D with the fiber optics. You can see how it's going to go in, just like that. And again, it's going to be easily lit. So what's next? All right, we got the pylons. Excuse me, the nacelles. And I like how it's not like glass where it just comes right through. You can see it the way it diffuses, and it warps the light just enough to make it look like it's got that bluish hint or the bluish tint inside. So that's really cool. Very nice. So we got the nacelles. Let's call that the starboard side. And we got the port side. Of course, they're both identical. Very nice. It looks weird seeing it in clear plastic. It almost makes the detail look more alive, comes out more, much more noticeable. Love it. Okay, now we got the bottom of the secondary hull, and it's actually it's one part, and you can see it's got the nacelle pylons. So like we did with the fiber optic one, we have to channel a little valley right there in the plastic on either side, and then we'll put in just a bit of modeling putty and that'll be able to power the nacelles. But the mistake that I made was the wires that I used were, well, the wires that they had, the instructions called for taking off of the insulation, but I had forgot to do that. So I had done them deep, and when I put the wires in, I had to dig the channel much deeper than it should have been. They had said to take the insulation of the wires off and do it that way. But you would have to make two channels, because if you take the wire of the insulation off, what's going to happen is the wires are going to touch and it's going to short out. It won't work. But we'll have a small wire for the positive and a small valley for the negative. As you can see, it's one piece and it's not all that thick. So if you make a mistake and you go through, you got the modeler's putty that'll hide a lot of mistakes, but you certainly don't want to go through. So you can see the bottom, and we've got the phaser array right there. And let's see, I know there are more. Here's a couple more phaser arrays, and over here, underneath, there's nacelle pylons. So this is a nice piece. Again, the plastic, clear plastic. I love that eerie glow that light gets when it goes through. So that's very nice. Let's see. What's this? Oh, this is just a tree. So that's everything in that section. Okay, moving on. Let's see. It looks like we have the deflector dish. And this will be easy to make it glow. What's this? Oh, this is actually the base. The part of the base that holds up the ship. The ship gets mounted, and this gets mounted right on. So let's put that aside. And you can see this has a lot of the smaller plastic clear parts, or the actual clear parts. You can see the back of Shuttle Bay 1, the door. We got the bridge with B and C decks. We have some more of the, I think that's for the back, the dorsal hull. And we have the captain's yacht. You can choose from either one of the captain's yachts. Okay. And we have Again, we have the deflector dish. Nice. You see the part that goes into the deflector dish, and this part is going to be red. And you got the blue, the little area of blue, and then the background is going to be blue. And we have the chiller grills for the size of the nacelles and where the Bussard collectors are. And speaking of the Bussard collectors, we got them right here. Nicely lit. The nice thing about it being clear is you don't have to individualize the lights inside. You don't have to make sure you get a red one for the Bussard collectors and a blue one for the chiller. I mean, you can, but it's not necessary. You can just use LED tape that lights the hole inside, and then you can just paint the outside with the translucent paint. So here is a base, and we've got the option of 2 bases. So we have 2 stands we can use. So let's check this out. Actually, there's not an option for 2 stands. This stand is for the primary hull. So you can detach it and you can put it on here and display it separately. And this is the same one from earlier molds, just the same mold. And I saw another piece that goes, I don't know if it goes with that, but, oh, this is just a tree that it had come off of. Okay, and then we have this one. This is for the primary hull, for the secondary hull. And you know, the fact that it's clear, it makes me think we could have a little bit of fun with this and actually light the base. The base itself. If we painted the circle section, instead of doing gold, we could actually do it black and make it look like space. And we could do the Delta insignia, and we could actually make it so that it glows. That would be pretty cool. We have a few options we can do with this. So that's something to look forward to when we do this build. All right, and what do we got next? We've got the primary hull. Beautiful. Nice and big. So let's go ahead and open this up. Beautiful. All right, we'll start with the bottom. Now, at first, I wasn't going to do this model. I had gotten it. I got a good deal on it on eBay. And this model is pretty rare because I've gone back and tried to find another one that I could get where I wouldn't have to open one. And I don't really find a lot of these models. In fact, I've only found 2 of them in the last year. So they're not readily available. So that's why I decided, because of the rarity of this model, I would love to see the inside, and I'm sure my fellow Star Trek modelers would love to see it as well. So that's why I decided to sacrifice it and open it up. You can see the bottom of the bridge, the area at the bottom where the sensor domes are going to be. You can see the phaser arrays. Again, this is beautiful. It's such a good idea to do it in the translucent. I mean, if there was a way to paint it where it would look almost ghostly. You guys remember the episode where Riker had found the Pegasus, where he was on, and they were working on a cloaking device. The Enterprise actually was able to cloak, and not only cloak, she was able to go through solid material. You remember the Romulans had closed in the asteroid where the Enterprise was when they found the Pegasus. But the Enterprise was actually able to go through. And I love the look on Tomalak's face when the Enterprise decloaks and they hail the ship. Oh, was it Tomalak? Or was it another one? Commander, I'm not sure. But it would be cool to be able to paint this or do something with this where it looks cloaked. Maybe halfway cloaked. We have a lot of options with the clear. That would be really, really fun. Yeah, we got to think of something to do with that. That would be amazing. All right, let's look at the bottom. Or, excuse me, that is the bottom. Let's look at the top. Beautiful. Look at that, huh? You can see Shuttle Bay 1, where the impulse engines are going to go, where the dorsal hull attaches, the battle bridge section. You can see where the bridge is going to go, B and C decks. And the nice thing about being clear is you don't really have to drill and put LEDs in the areas you want lit, because basically the whole thing is clear. So when everything is together, it's still going to come through. It's still going to light up. You know, I've seen some really cool videos on YouTube about some amazing modelers, and they actually have the phasers fire. You know how it kind of moves, then it goes to the section where it's going to fire from, and then it fires? I would love to do something like that with this kit to really make it special. That would be really fun. So we're gonna do some research and some thought into this project, and we're gonna plan it out. So this is gonna be a really special enterprise. So that's the top of the saucer section. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so now we've got the instructions. I'm gonna, like I usually do, I'm gonna share the instructions with you guys as well. A highly detailed kit features precision tool parts for ease of assembly. Care and patience must be exercised to achieve optimal results. The kit has been designed to assemble via snap assembly. I don't know about that, because I had made this kit in the past, and you might as well glue it. It doesn't hurt. Clear plastic. This special release of the Enterprise 1701-D has been created solely in clear styrene plastic as a benefit to modelers who may choose to light their model. Some modelers may choose to remove the raised detail from the kit in order to achieve a more accurate on-screen representation of the ship. Handle with care when doing so. Keep in mind that while building, that by nature clear styrene tends to be more brittle and opaque than opaque colored styrene. Handle appropriately. Now that's good to know. I didn't know that. It's more brittle and tends to break more. That's a good little tip to remember, guys. So we go to step 1, and we've got the saucer module, or the primary hull. You can see, glue the main bridge dome to the top of the main bridge. You've got the little pieces that are going to go on. You've got the sensor dome on the bottom, or excuse me, where the captain's yacht is going to go. On part 2, we move to the battle head. Now I'm thinking that we would do all the wiring as we go along, and we would put all the LED stripping into the ship. And then, when it's finished, we just paint the outside, and then we can take out the windows with the little drill. Glue the starboard and port shuttle bays to the battle head. I don't know about you guys, but it's fun to go through the instructions and look at all the stuff, especially a new kit. You know, when you open it up and you take the plastic off, to me there's just something so satisfying about opening up a new model kit, especially the Enterprise. Part 3A, we have the upper engineering hull. You can see we're putting the dorsal hull onto the top half of the secondary hull. And the bottom, you can see we're putting in a deflector dish, the navigational deflector. Step 4, we move on to the warp nacelles. You get the starboard and the port. And again, this is all clear, so the easy thing to do is to paint the outer shells. Of course, you could have masked that section off, but you can just do all the pieces separate in the color that they need to be, and when they go together, it's going to look great. Instead of, I mean, you could mask it off and do it that way, but I think it would be easier to paint the sections individually. On to step 5, we've got the battle hull assembly. Glue the warp nacelles, engineering and hull assembly. Again, if we're going to run wires, the two of the thinnest wires we got for positive and negative, and we make two tiny little channels as opposed to one really deep one. And we're already up to the final assembly on 6. Glue the starboard and port shuttle bay doors to the battle hull assembly. Glue the main shuttle bay door and starboard and port impulse engines to the saucer module. You can see again, it's going to be easy to paint and light. Now we move on to 7 with the options for the base. We've got 2 of them, one for the primary hull and one for the secondary hull. This kit has been designed to allow the builder to display it one of 2 ways, fully assembled or with the saucer module separated from the battle hull. Decisions must be made early in the build to ensure the proper steps to be able to mount the finished model on the supplied stands correctly. If the displaying the kit fully assembled, clear notch in part number 8 labeled A. If displaying the kit with the saucer separated from the battle hull, clear the notch in part 8 labeled B. You see you got to cut a little section out that's going to be for the base to go through, and that's where it's going to be mounted to the ship. Okay, so now we've got the paint and decal instructions. For the best results, read all instructions thoroughly before beginning paint and decal application. So we've got the paint, and again with this kit we have the Aztecing decals. This kit contains decals to simulate the Aztec paint job of the studio model as soon as Star Trek The Next Generation and the Star Trek Next Generation films. These decals must be applied before applying the marking decals and will cover the majority of the surface areas of the model. For best results, work slowly and plan ahead. Please note that it is extremely advantageous to apply paint and decals to sub-assemblies before completing the final assembly, and that's the way I like to do it. It is suggested but not necessary to apply a clear gloss coat over the Aztec decals before applying the marking decals on top. Doing so will seal the Aztecing decals and allow the markings to be positioned more easily. And of course, I like to clear coat everything. But that's the first time I see the suggestion of actually clear coating over the Aztecing and then putting on the registration numbers. So we got the windows. Decals will cover the windows of the model. If taking the additional steps of lighting the model, it is suggested to paint the entire surface of the model, then scrape the paint off each window. Decals can then be applied. The decals are transparent and will allow the lights to show through them. If the builder does not plan on lighting the kit, a fine point permanent black marker or paint applied to a fine brush can be used to fill in each window opening. I find also the best thing that I use, they have these, the Sharpie, really fine point tip. Either a marker or a paint pen works great. Or you can take a toothpick, you can dip it just a bit in the black paint and you can fill in the windows that way. Again, with the application of the decals, you can cut the desired decal from the sheet, dry fit it in place. Again, there's a lot of decals, so I'm looking forward to seeing the Aztecing decals, because this is the first time that I have the Enterprise D Aztecing decals. A final coat of dull clear coat once over all the decals are applied will help the decals blend into the surface, hide application imperfections, and protect the decals from chipping. You give the ship the finished look. What I like to use is, let me show you, it's actually right here. I like to use the microsol. That kind of positions it, gets it ready, and then when it's dry, I like to put on the micro set. And it gives you the paint sheet. We got Ghost, Light Ghost Gray, Gunship Gray, SAC Tan, Clear Red, Clear Blue, Copper, and Insignia Yellow. Okay, now we come to the decal placement themselves. We've got 1A, the saucer module top. Look at that. It's intimidating because there are so many decals, but just think of the beauty of the finished model, especially when she's going to be lit. This is just an amazing model kit. So this is the best one of the D, in my opinion, of her time, as was the fiber optic AMT Enterprise D was the best model of its time, in my opinion. We got 1B. We got the bottom of the primary hull. And we've got the battle top. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. So we don't really have to spend a lot of time painting. So you figure the paint for the outside of the hull, it's that grayish kind of blue hue if you're going to go towards the films. We have to paint the phaser arrays. And other than that, there's really not too much detail that the decals will not cover. 3A, we got the battle head, the top and the bottom. You can see the dorsal hull, the back, where the two other shuttle bays are, 2 and 3. The sides of the battle head, or dorsal hull. And then we have the nacelles. This is going to be beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, is that everything? And that is all of the instructions, including the paint instructions, the decal instructions, and the entire instruction sheet. So, beautiful. Now let's look at one of my favorite parts of the kit. I'm dying to see what they look like. This is the first time I actually see the Aztecing decals for the Enterprise D in a model kit form. All right, first thing we have is decal application instructions. Cut the decals apart close to the image, only one at a time. Dip the decal in tepid water until the proper backing loosens. I like to put a drop of dish soap in just as an added humectant. Moisten the area of the model where decals are to be applied. Slide decal partly off the backing. Place decal on a model face up and slide paper backing away. Thoroughly blot out the excess water, air bubbles, and any excess emulsions with a soft lint-free cloth and allow time to dry before handling. Note, if bubbles or wrinkles form on the irregular or curved surface, cut the decal and press into place. So that's a good little tidbit of information. All right, let's put that aside. Oh, this is beautiful. Like I said, I've never seen this. I've never had these decals before. This is going to be spectacular. Guys, this model is going to be great. I mean, right now we're working on the Eagle Moss Build the Enterprise D, which is absolutely spectacular. But this model has to run a close second. When this is done, this is going to be absolutely gorgeous. And again, I don't really see a lot of these models. I've tried searching for them on eBay and Amazon, and when you do find one, once in a great while, it's like ridiculously priced. It's so expensive. But they don't do them with the Aztecing decals anymore. You can see all the escape pods, because that's one thing I had to do with the fiber optic one. I had to paint all the escape pods on, and there's quite a bit. So it's absolutely beautiful. You can see the dorsal hull of the battle bridge, the battle section, both sides. Oh, just beautiful. All right, next up. Oh, I see the thrusters that are going to go on the primary hull. lot of sections that are very large, and it might be a good idea to actually cut them and then put them on that way. This is going to go on the bottom of the secondary hull. And you can see these are the nacelle pylons. And by the time we get to the decals, remember, she'll be finished. Because what we're going to do is, because I'm going to light it, we're going to do all the wiring first. And we're going to put all the LED tape and everything to fully illuminate the ship, make her nice and bright. And then, when she's done and she's all glued together, then we're going to paint her. With the exception being, you know, like the nacelles, because I was thinking of doing those sections first before gluing it together, the red and the blue sections. It would just be easier and it would look neater. Look at this. We got the bridge and B and C deck area around the island on the primary hull. You can see all of the escape pods. I did all the escape pods. I didn't put the lines on them. I should have. I probably should have done that. That little added extra. But I ended up painting them all by hand. And these look a lot neater. You can see the little, I'm not sure what those little detail ones are. And I think these are the thrusters that go on the primary hull, the saucer section and the four corners. Beautiful. And back to the nacelle pylons. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, what's next? They don't give these decals away either. I don't know what it is right now for the set of decals for the Enterprise D in 1/1400 scale, but I'll put it up on the screen. Again, you can see, I think that's the bridge area. So I think the other one that I had shown you was for the captain's yacht area. I think this is the bridge in B and C decks. More escape pods. And you can see the pie pieces for the primary hull. I just love the Aztecing. I'm doing the Enterprise 1350 refit, and I'm working on the nacelles, and it's been a long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an update video for my build on the refit, and then we're going to continue working on it, especially since I got my new compressor. This thing is amazing. All right. Looks like we got one more sheet. Yep, one more. And look at that. I love it. We got the registry markings. NCC-1701-D. Beautiful. And we got the Delta logo. That's going to go. I think that could be for the nacelles. Tops of the nacelles. Absolutely gorgeous. And the little details. You can see these little marks are what goes around every phaser array. When the phaser strip comes to an end, these are the little, almost like parentheses or marks, little colons that they have on either side. We have more of the pie for the primary hull. It's a pretty good size, so we got the top and the bottom. You can see the just absolutely beautiful. And that is it. So my friends, this absolutely gorgeous model kit, if you were wondering what was in it, as I was, because you don't really see these very often, they do have an updated version of this kit that I have seen. It's not the latest, but it's the updated, and it does not have the Aztecing decals. I'll show you the most recent version of this kit if I can find it. And I'll show you guys the box cover. We'll see what it looks like. And this one is the special edition. So this was the very first time they had made the Enterprise D in clear to help you with lighting, as well as the Aztecing decals that came with it. So you can actually cover the ship entirely in Aztecing decals. And I'm looking very much forward to making this build. Like I said, we got so many projects that are going on at once. We're doing the Enterprise D by Eagle Moss. I'm going to be doing the Enterprise refit after the auto-destruct as she falls into the planet atmosphere on Genesis. So we're going to be doing that because I was actually inspired by that, by doing the, I had recently done the Constellation, and that came out pretty good. So that gave me the idea to do the destruct, auto-destruct Enterprise as she goes in to burn up into the atmosphere. So we're going to be doing that. Eventually we're going to get to this. I got the 1/350 scale USS Grissom, the USS Enterprise 1/350 refit that I've been working on forever. Look for the update video on that. So my friends, I hope you enjoyed this little video on this wonderful, wonderful model kit. And if you see this anywhere for sale, you should probably grab it. I mean, if it's a decent price, because these are pretty rare. And you don't see these very much anymore. So my friends, until we actually build this kit with step 1, I shall talk to you very soon. Happy Easter, and thank you so much for watching.